Diktatörlerin sonu budur. Allahu Ekber. Sonu budur. Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber. Diktatörlerin sonu budur. Diktatörlerin sonu budur. Türk diktatörleri...
Reminds you of the fall of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. That was in 2003, when Iraqis brought down Saddam's statue in a similar fashion. But barring videos like these, of course, the Syria story is very different from Iraq. The Syrian civil war began in 2011 during the Arab Spring. Protesters wanted to overthrow President Bashar al-Assad. The protests turned into armed conflicts. Foreign players joined in. Terrorist groups exploited the chaos, but Assad held on with support from friends like Iran and Russia. But now Iran and Russia are involved in their own conflicts. Iran is pitted against Israel. Russia is fighting in Ukraine. So Bashar al-Assad was left vulnerable in Syria. And rebels exploited this opportunity to strike. As I said, it began last week. The rebels made gains immediately. They captured large chunks of land, including parts of provinces like Hama. Their next target is said to be Damascus, the capital of Syria. Will Assad be able to fend it off? At this point, his army appears outmatched.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر هاي الدبابات هاي الباصات الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر هاي الدبابات هاي دبابة ثانية غاد الله أكبر الله أكبر هاي دبابة.
So what exactly is happening here? How are the odds stacked? And who is leading this new offensive in Syria? You see, after years of conflict, Syria is a country with multiple power centers. The Assad regime controls only about 60% of it, only about 60% of the territory. In the east, it's the Kurds who hold sway. In the northwest, in cities like Idlib, there are other rebel groups. Despite using his full force, Assad has not been able to regain total control of his country. So again, who is behind this latest offensive? It's a group called HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. It's an offshoot of the Al-Qaeda and is being supported by smaller rebel groups. Now, the HTS is not a new group. They've been around since 2016. Until recently, they were the de facto rulers of Idlib, the city in the northwest. The group has around 30,000 fighters, which is a considerable number, big enough to mount a new offensive. And they're up against the Syrian army, which has the backing of Iran and Russia. The Syrian army is supported by Iran and Russia. So President Assad has powerful friends, and they're stepping up in his hour of crisis. Iran is sending militias to support Assad's army. Yesterday, they sent some 300 fighters via Iraq. Meanwhile, Russia is giving aerial support. Russian planes carried out airstrikes to neutralize the rebels. At least 25 people were killed in these Russian airstrikes. The Syrian Air Force was part of this operation. Together, they tried to push back the rebels. And as always, civilians are bearing the brunt of war.
صار قصف جراء استهداف مدينة إدلب 1/12/2024.
في حدا تحت؟
ليكا المرة ليكا وين؟ شهيد. واحد 12/2024 استهداف الأحياء داخل مدينة إدلب.
The Iranian foreign minister has visited Damascus. He said the trip was supposed to send a message to demonstrate Tehran's firm support to Assad. Iran says its military advisors are in Damascus. They will remain there until the threat to the Assad regime is neutralized. And this is not a new deployment. Iran has been supporting Assad since the civil war began in 2011. As part of this support, they've stationed a team of advisors in Damascus. Moscow, too, has reiterated its support to the Assad regime.